Hey there, everybody! Today we're diving into something super interesting, cognitive learning. Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Cognitive learning is simply how our brains understand and process information. Think of it like this. Our brains are like computers, and cognitive learning is the software that helps us learn new things. Whether we're learning a new language, how to ride a bike, or even just remembering someone's name, it's all thanks to cognitive learning. Pretty cool, right? So, how does cognitive learning actually work? It's a fascinating process that involves several intricate steps and principles. Well, there are a few key principles that help us understand it better. These principles form the foundation of how we absorb, process, and retain information. One important principle is attention. Attention acts as the gateway to learning, allowing us to focus on the information that is most relevant. We can't learn something if we're not paying attention to it. Distractions can severely hinder our ability to absorb new information. That's why it's so hard to study with the TV on. Our brains are not wired to multitask effectively when it comes to learning. Another key principle is memory. Memory allows us to store information so that we can retrieve it later. Once we've paid attention to something, our brains need to store that information somewhere so we can access it later. This storage process is crucial for long-term learning. Finally, we have to be able to retrieve that information when we need it. This retrieval process is known as recall. This is called recall, and it's why we study for tests. By practicing recall, we strengthen our memory and improve our ability to access information when it counts the most. Now let's talk about mistakes. We all make them, right? Well, guess what? Mistakes are actually a crucial part of cognitive learning. When we make a mistake, our brains take note of what went wrong. This helps us avoid making the same mistake again in the future. Think about learning to ride a bike. Remember all those times you fell off? Each tumble taught you something new about balance and coordination. Eventually, you learned to ride without falling. Section 4. Chunking and organization. Here's another cool thing about cognitive learning. Our brains love patterns and organization. It helps us make sense of the world around us. One way we do this is through a process called chunking. This is when we group similar pieces of information together. For example, think about a phone number. We don't remember it as 10 separate digits. We chunk it into groups of 3 or 4, which makes it much easier to remember. Section 5. Real-world cognitive learning. In this section, we delve into how cognitive learning manifests in our everyday lives. Cognitive learning is happening all around us every single day. It's an ongoing process that we often don't even realize is taking place. It's not just something that happens in classrooms or textbooks. It extends far beyond the traditional learning environments. Remember that time you learned how to use the new coffee maker? You read the manual, followed the steps, and eventually mastered it. That's cognitive learning in action. The satisfaction you felt was a result of your brain successfully processing and applying new information. Or how about when you figured out a shortcut on your way to work? You used your spatial awareness and problem-solving skills. Cognitive learning strikes again. Every time we learn something new, whether it's big or small, our brains are hard at work, making connections and storing information. This continuous process helps us adapt and grow in our ever-changing world. From cooking a new recipe to playing a musical instrument or even solving a puzzle, cognitive learning is the key to mastering new skills and enhancing our daily lives. Section 6. The importance of cognitive learning. So why is cognitive learning so important? It's a fundamental aspect of our development and growth. Well, for starters, it helps us navigate the world around us. It enables us to understand complex concepts and apply them in real-life situations. It allows us to learn new skills, solve problems, and make decisions. Cognitive learning is the foundation of critical thinking and creativity. It's what makes us adaptable and able to thrive in a constantly changing environment. Whether it's adapting to new technology or finding innovative solutions, cognitive learning is key. From the moment we're born, our brains are like sponges, soaking up information. This early learning sets the stage for future cognitive development and making sense of the world. Through play and exploration, children develop essential cognitive skills that will serve them throughout their lives. And that, my friends, is the amazing power of cognitive learning. It shapes who we are and how we interact with the world, making it an indispensable part of our lives. Please like and subscribe to Theory Breaker for more educational content.